Left here now.
Thomas Bradley from the Lantern. Luke, obviously you're a defensive-oriented guy, and you talked about how you might be minimally involved in the offense. What would your offensive game plan be for next year?
We are going to play to our strengths. That's what we do each and every year. It's not much different defensively. If we have three tailbacks, maybe three tailbacks will be out there. But we all know that we're going to play to our strengths, and we'll find out what those strengths are come fall camp.
To the right, to the back.
Hey, Luke, Dave Metzold, 610 WTVN. Just one other question on Coach Tressel. Do you feel like he should have resigned as the head football coach at Ohio State?
Again, that's not something that I really want to get into. I know Coach Tressel has the utmost respect for Ohio State, and that's what he's told me. He loves this university, as well as I love this university, and I'm not really going to probably elaborate on anything more about that.
To the left over here.
Luke, Kenny Rohde, ESPN Cleveland. Why are you the right guy for this job? What did you go in and say to Gene Smith as to why you should be the guy moving this program forward and out of this dark spot in its tradition?
It starts with understanding what it takes to be a Buckeye, what it means to be a Buckeye, the expectation level I talked about in the beginning, about being able to embrace that and understand that. That's a different situation. Being here for 5 years as a player, 10 years as a coach almost, understanding what the foundation is, what the great things are that are in place, and maybe having some ideas of how you can get better at little things. I think also knowing the great state of Ohio is something that is incredibly important, as well as Columbus, where it poses some unbelievable experiences, being the 15th largest city in the country. It also presents its own challenges at times as well. I think those are all important things that you have to understand when you're going to be the head coach at Ohio State.
To the right.
Mark Kuntz, TV 44 Lima, in the back, way back, up top. You've got a special teams background. Special teams, obviously, there were some issues last year with kick returns and punt returns for touchdowns. There's not a special teams coordinator on the staff. Is that something that might be addressed, or are you going to continue with the philosophy of having all the coaches help out on special teams?
Again, within the next week or so, I think we'll lay out the expectations as well as the duties and responsibilities. There may be some changes coming, but probably not ready to talk about that just now at this time.
To the left.
Luke, Mark Schwab, 19 Action News in Cleveland. When it comes to Michigan, do you see that game as another Big Ten game that obviously you have to work hard and prepare for, or is that special?
Our guys will know about November 26th, I promise you that.
Okay, we'll stay to the left here, and we'll go just a couple more minutes then.
Doug Lamreese from the Plain Dealer. Luke, I think a lot of people figured you would be a head coach at some point in your career. We saw that coming. But do you feel like you're completely ready now, or do you really think that another couple years of doing what you were doing would have helped prepare you more to be a head coach?
I truly believe it's been a natural progression, where some might believe it's maybe an accelerated progression. This is what I've prepared for almost 15 years now, to have this goal in mind, to be able to go out, and I've had a lot of different responsibilities, whether it was special teams, defense, haven't had as much on the offensive side of the ball, but I spent a lot of time even having to travel to sit down with different coaches and do different things, spend time with professional coaches just to understand their different sides of the things, all with the goal in mind of preparing myself to be a head coach. I didn't want to take some of the travels of picking up my entire family and doing it, so I've known that in order for me to be able to do this, I'm going to have to do some other things instead.
Steve Hellwagon with Bucknuts again. You took this job on May 30th. At that time, Gene Smith and Gordon Gee came out and said that they would not recruit or hire a full-time replacement until after the season is over. Have they given you, in any of the discussions you've had with them, any inclination of the things they're looking for, first of all, for you to be retained as the permanent replacement, and secondly, what the timeline for that decision may be?
That's not something we've talked about. That's not something I'm worried about either. Us as a coaching staff have a plan, and the plan is for the future. And like we said before, we're going to continue to focus on that plan and continue to move this program forward and not worry about things like that.
To the right.
Yeah, Luke, Tim May, Columbus Dispatch again. from your vantage point, is it the responsibility of the coaches and assistant coaches, especially in light of what's gone on, to know what cars guys are driving, to know what new tattoos they have, to know where they're spending their time, and how will you address that, I guess, as you move forward?
Again, I think we're going to continue to look at those things, again, thoroughly, methodically, trying to figure out what best ways we can get better at those things that we do. There are a lot of things that pose different problems or different opportunities, but again, that's going to be something that we're going to spend a lot of time trying to figure out how we can get better at all those situations.
Front row to the left here.
Lori Schmidt, 97.1 The Fan. Obviously, the actions of the players who have been suspended to this point, the ramifications of those actions have been ratcheted up since the last time we talked to anybody. Have their teammates forgiven them, or is that a process that's still playing out?
You know, there are some things that we probably would keep internally, and that's one of those things that, you know, inside of a family, you know, we ask guys to have respect for one another and help each other out, and that's something that within our family we will handle.
Luke, why'd you wait till today to address the OSU fans?
It's been a unique situation. Obviously, you know that when it has happened, we were preparing for finals. So our kids' minds, the most important thing we had on our mind as an entire staff was our kids. It wasn't quite getting out here, being in front of the media just yet. We wanted to make sure our kids were sound and safe and good going into their finals, as well as we had to prepare for our football camps coming up. This was probably the most opportune time.
We'll stay on the left-hand side here.
Ashley Gnelzy, Columbus Wire TV. Coach, I was wondering, a lot has changed since you were a player, whether that's the media, the social media, or anything like that. Can you maybe talk about some of the changes and pressures of being a student athlete in today's current game?
I think that's what we talked about embracing the expectations when you come to Ohio State. There are a lot of things, and we talk about Columbus being unique in its own ways. So we're going to continue, and we've done an unbelievable job at educating our kids, but we obviously are going to continue to educate them on the different things which we would hope that they would understand and communicate to them at where we have maybe slipped up in the past and learn from that and get better.
This will be one final question then from the left.
Bill Rabinowitz, the Columbus Dispatch. Who will call the plays on offense, and do you think that Jim Tressel had a very well-known philosophy on offense, protect the ball, defensively, special teams, we all knew where he was coming from. What's your philosophy?
Coach Bowman has been our offensive coordinator here for 10 years now. I don't see anything changing. I know that they do an unbelievable job as a staff over there, making sure that they focus on their talents and using them in the best way possible. And I promise you that they're going to continue to use their talents in the best way. And we have the utmost confidence in Coach Bowman and the entire offensive staff.
Is he going to call plays now?
He has been our offensive coordinator for the last 10 years, and he will continue to call the plays.
The head coach seemed to be the last arbiter in that situation, and sometimes it looked like Darrell Hazel and stuff. But have y'all even addressed the mechanics of how you're going to do that?
There's a fine line between reality and perception again. And in a couple weeks, or in due time, we will lay out our duties and responsibilities. We'll get another coach in here and make sure we communicate with you, Tim, as to what will be like this year. I just want to leave you with one thing. We will have a goal this year to lead the nation in 3 categories: effort, turnovers, and toughness. We believe this will be the formula for success and moving forward and planning for the future here at Ohio State. Thanks.
Thank you, Luke.